Alright guys, I'm here with a CF-Y5 and this is a parts unit. I got a bad latch release button. The latch doesn't catch on this, is worn out. So I'm going to be replacing that. So we have to remove the touchpad from it. Zoom in.
We gear up for the spring fund drive. Please make a contribution to our member match fund. Here's why that's important. The matching gift will encourage others to give.
Alright, so to remove this we have to take this front piece off.
To go from being a listener to being a Michigan
Just stick the pry tool under here to
add
add a little bit of low heat. It's just double-sided tape down here.
In West and Mid-Michigan, from the upper 20s to the low 30s now in the southeast. Michigan radio is 91.7
Get up under there.
91.1 in
Just made that fly off.
104.1 in West Michigan. It's 11:20.
Okay, so it removes this little piece.
And welcome back to the
Then you have one screw.
Hour, the Friday News Roundup.
Take that screw out.
With Jennifer Griffin of Fox News, Jonathan.
Okay, and then from here we just
newspapers,
have to pry this up a little bit and get into the circle ring here.
We have talked about Syria.
Gotta be careful. This has got
Ukraine.
this has double-sided tape on it as well. You don't want to break it, so just very gently pry up on it. That comes off, and we have the touchpad in this ring that are also double-sided tape. Let me apply a little more heat. Mine's on low. You can leave it on your hand and it won't burn that much, so that's what you want. Okay, so then you get your, I'm using a nylon pry tool. And you just kind of look under it and start, shove it in there and pry it.
But they were arrested. They've been in jail since late December.
Be careful because there is a ribbon cable under the top part right here. So now I'm just found the space in between it, and I'm running my pry tool under it
Well, they're saying what
to
is interesting is, and a lot of journalists
separate
are asking themselves this question right now,
and break the bond here.
Are they allowed to interview members of the Muslim Brotherhood? Because last month,
Okay, you just got to go slow. Don't force it too much.
It is now considered a terrorist group. And does that mean?
And then once you start prying up, you'll be able to see where that ribbon cable is.
Will you be arrested
and
as a
just
journalist?
gently
Journalists are concerned about this.
pry it up, and then you can just lay it there. Then you have to pick up, lift up on this sticker here.
In Cairo, and I remember I was there in August and September covering the turmoil, and I remember talking with Mohammed. He's been offered
There we go.
With Al Jazeera, and he was kind of agonizing about it. You know, he's worked
okay, right there.
McClatchy.
So you pry this up,
The author of a very well-received book on Egyptian
peel it back
politics.
a decent amount.
Okay,
Okay, and then we have our
our
latch, and then you just pick this up, push it backwards, and then get the little feet to come out. I'm going to install the bad one on this one, so I'm gonna put it down, then gonna try to stretch that spring, because this is spring loaded. I'm gonna try to, okay, hold on, maybe we have to put that spring on there first and then run it through. Whoop. And then sometimes that happens, so I'm just gonna put it, it's a little more complicated than
coup attempts by the military and or stealing chickens.
Where the heck is my spring
there's
now?
a whole
Great.
litany of charges. This
Here it
week
is.
he was indicted, if you will, for working with
Put it on there.
To help his jailbreak during the 2011
It's a little hard
in which
to do.
Hosni Mubarak was ousted. So, as everyone
So
has been saying, this is
I'm gonna
just
hook
a
it on
blatant
here.
attempt to shut down
Try to
the Muslim
hold it
Brotherhood. They don't want to just
with
arrest
one hand
some of the leaders or
and try to get
rid
it
of the group. They want this group completely shut down, and
to
anybody
bend.
who worked for them, who
Okay.
supports them,
And
who talks to them, is now labeled in this broad swath with them. President Morsi during the trial. It was
There
a
we go.
soundproof
Like I said, this is a parts
In
one,
Egypt,
so I don't care if
the
it works right on this one.
defendant
I just
usually
got to
put
get
in
it
a
right
cage
on the
for kind of the public
on the one that we're trying to use, and then you
spectacle.
just
This one
peel
was
this back down.
soundproof, which is really
I'm actually going to
unprecedented,
use this
meaning that
touchpad on
they really
the
didn't
other
even
one.
want to
So
hear from him at all.
to remove the touchpad, you
I
just
think there's something more to this as
pry
well.
up on that
Let's not
little lock
forget
here,
that the
remove the
military,
ribbon cable.
Egyptian security forces
Okay.
gunned down hundreds of unarmed demonstrators.
we get the
pro-Morsi
other unit
brotherhood
right here.
demonstrators, in the streets.
This is the unit that we're putting the other touchpad
And
on
they
it,
need to deflect
and that new
people's attention
release
from
latch.
what
So
they
we'll
did.
move that
It
over
took
there.
Hundreds of people who were gunned down in the
Apply
street,
this
unarmed people. And I think that by building up the
touchpad,
brotherhood as this terrorist
just run that blue
that's in league
part
with
on there,
Hamas,
pushing upwards with your pry tool so that it's nice and
it
flush.
got so
Let
bizarre.
that
I
sit
remember
there.
reading this front page piece
Then we come up
in Egyptian newspaper in September
to where
they
the
said
spring
the
is.
American ambassador was
Okay,
also involved
and I'm
with
gonna try to use.
Hamas and
I don't know if I can
Hezbollah
use
and
needle nose
Muslim
pliers on this one or
Brotherhood
not.
in trying to break off a
My
piece
needle nose are
of
kind of
northern
bent.
Egypt so that it could succeed and become an Islamic state.
Well, in the process,
All right, there we
what's
go.
happening
So,
is that
use
the
needle nose,
regime,
pried it
by
up there.
using these, tough
Works like a champ.
tactics, they're fueling
So we
an
just
insurgency
put
that's
this
already
back
taken
down.
place in the Sinai.
Apply a
And
little
that's where
heat.
Al-Qaeda linked
Again on low.
has set up and what's interesting
Apply a little
is
heat,
over the weekend,
and then run your
in the
pry
last
tool
7 days,
along
for the first
where
time we've seen
the
a
double-sided
shoulder-fired
tape is,
missile,
as
be
to
fired
seal it
inside
back
an
up as best as
SA-6 or
possible.
SA-7.
Now this
That
may
was fired
compromise
at
the
an
water
Egyptian
tightness or
military
whatever,
helicopter,
but
5 soldiers killed.
you gotta do what you
We've
gotta
also
do to
seen
fix
bombs
it.
go off
So
in downtown Cairo.
this
A
double-sided tape
general
is still
who
kind
worked
is
for the
still kind of
Interior Ministry
tacky.
was
So what we have to do
assassinated. So in
to
the process of
reapply this
squeezing the
touchpad, we have to make sure
Muslim
that that
Brotherhood,
ribbon cable goes
Al-Qaeda
under
linked
here.
insurgents are starting to set
Okay.
off bombs and
So
bring down helicopters.
kinda
What is all this doing?
line it up
to
like
the
that.
Egyptian
Let's apply some heat,
economy?
low heat. Keep it moving, don't keep it in one spot. Okay, and then just take your pry tool
There were no other tourists. I was the
or your
only
fingers and
one
just
there. And it's so
push down on it.
You know, when you approach the area where
Okay,
in
put that
Giza
screw
where the
back in that
Kurds
holds
are,
it
you have
together.
all of these separate tour operators, and in good times they're all busy and they're getting camel.
Or maybe, you know what, let's put the
rides.
ring back on.
They were so desperate that they had
Okay, so we'll
guys
pop
blocking the street
the
and
ring back on
they
there like
attacked
so.
My car to try and get me to come to their shop, to force me to come to their shop.
Okay.
They're so desperate for
Let's-
tourism.
this has to go-
The economy is in a.
Let's pry this back up. It has to
They've
sit
gotten money from the Saudis
further
it's
up
around
like
$4
that.
billion, I think.
You gotta line up these little
But
connectors
it's
there.
not gonna last, and
Okay, so once you get that in
the way
there,
this is going, it looks like tourism.
you just want to make sure that your little ring here
But this is
actually
an
covers it
important
up.
point about the
So let's
money
apply
that
some more
the
heat.
Saudis and
Low heat, keep it on low,
are
and keep it minimal.
Egyptian government. And this is
So then you
in
just
some
run
ways
your
to compensate for some of the aid
pry
that was
tool,
suspended from the United
pushing
States.
down on
In
it.
other
See how it
ways,
doesn't
they're
scratch
really
it?
helping this government in their crackdown
Okay, and then we
against
put the
Muslim
screw back in.
Brotherhood, which is why I would argue that yes,
Okay.
they want to deflect attention from the almost 1,000
Too
Muslim
tight.
Brotherhood supporters that they've killed. But I
Just
think that
if you
for the
if you
Egyptian
have this
government,
problem where when you
and
tighten
also
it
for others in the Gulf, that the Muslim
and you get
Brotherhood
that gets stuck,
plays
just back off the screw just
existential
a
threat.
little bit
And
until
so
it pops
this
back
is
out,
why
and then
the
it'll actually
Saudis-
work.
This is why the Emiratis,
Let's test it.
They don't want to see these
All right.
fledgling movements of Muslim brotherhoods of
Now we have to
Sunnis,
put this thing
of
back on
Shia
here.
or
So
Shia in their countries spread. And so
Um,
this is why
let's apply a little
they're
bit of heat to
helping
reactivate the
and support
tackiness.
The administration is in a real bind because the more than $1 billion
Okay.
of U.S. aid to Egypt
And
is
let's just-
conditioned on.
if
the
it comes off, we
president
could always
being able to
apply
certify that Egypt is on
new
the
tape.
path
Let's
to
apply some
democracy and
heat to it.
Just
a little bit. Run our pry tool. Press down. See how this is still coming up? It's not working. So we're gonna peel this double-sided tape right off of there. I'm gonna use I believe this is 2mm tape. I'm not really sure what it is. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna use my 5mm, and I'm just gonna cut a little section, little section off.
conditions in which he's
Put
being
that on
held.
there.
We know that
Push it down, then we're going to do one on this side here.
Conditions. And they're in a jail that's reserved for the most hardened criminals, and yet at the bottom of all this, where it comes for American interests, I
So
think
we'll move
you're going to
that,
see the
and then
priority
just
given
push
to
down on it.
maintaining the peace
Okay,
agreement with
then
Israel.
we can
And
go
for the
ahead
United States,
and
that is really the bottom line.
And Diane, interesting to note
remove-
that last Saturday was the 3rd anniversary
use
of the revolution.
your fingernail.
President Mubarak, yet
It'll
in the
actually
State of
just
the Union address, no mention of
remove
Egypt
that.
from the president.
What happens to Morsi
And then now we're good. See, now we're back, and it's on there. All right, so that's how to replace a latch slash touchpad on a Panasonic CF-Y Toughbook. Okay, hope this helped you. Like the video if this helped. Leave a comment below if you got a question. Yeah, thanks for watching.